Hi, welcome to the NBA Economy Show. This is Fritz Alcindor. Just again, coming because we had some audio issues, but now they are fixed. You're using a different mic. Um, Glad you can join us. And what we're going to be doing today is just a summer build for the New York Knicks. And again, we're just going to reiterate this is like a summer build. I throw out a lot of scenarios what the Knicks can do, what the Knicks, if they wanted to pivot, this is what they could do. This is supposed to be like a realistic build, so we're not going to have superstars um, traded on the cheap. We're not having signings of unrealistic players. We're just going to see practical ways and practical solutions for this team to move forward. Um, this bill does have a controversial move in it, and it has a benefit. So it's not controversial to be controversial, but it's controversial, but it's for a reason. Um, so we see that the Knicks last year, um, 51-31. We got to the Eastern Conference Finals. Um, Disappointingly, but it was we got to Game 6. Indiana moved on, and now we see they're in the finals. So the Knicks um, are a really good team. Um, are we championship contenders? I would say so. I think we're kind of borderline. I think the East is improving. There are going to be plenty of teams near the top uh, battling for the top of the East. So I wouldn't even put it past the Knicks moving down a few spots, but I think they have championship aspirations very clearly. I think a lot of teams are going to consider us one of the teams to beat out the gate. So, what would I do if it were my team? So, when I'm for the first realistic change, is the coach. So we see Tom Thibodeau was fired earlier in the month, so he has a replacement. Who are we going to replace? And where I am going to show on. Oh, 1 second, and let me get this sheet in here. Okay, so what I'm gonna have is the first move would be Taylor Jenkins being selected as the coach of the New York Knicks. And the reason why I have kind of Taylor Jenkins up here is because um, we kind of saw what he did with the Memphis Grizzlies. He used most of his roster. He is a younger coach, so he should connect with younger players. Um, we saw he played with a team where the point guard wasn't the best defender. So I think there's a lot of things about Taylor Jenkins um, that probably intrigues the Knicks if he's open. I don't think the Knicks are going to just take Taylor Jenkins' blueprint and stick it on the Knicks, and that's going to be it. I think what the Knicks are going to do is say, hey, we know he can do this. Let's, we're going to add our analytics, we're going to add our experts, and we're going to come up with a plan together. He has to be a team player. He can't be my way or the highway. I think they really need someone who is going to play ball, so to speak, and and be one with management. And I think that's kind of the thing that the Knicks really want out of their next coach. So we're going to do this again. So yes, the first move is selecting Taylor Jenkins. Um, what do I think he's going to do with the assistants? I really think the Knicks are going to have him choose some assistants, but some assistants are going to come from the Knicks. I really think there are some really good analytics people. There are some really good development people that the Knicks probably want to keep. I don't think they're gonna let him take Dice out. I don't think he's gonna. They're gonna let him take Mark Bryan out, who's the big man's coach, and he's considered the top big man coach in the NBA. So I don't think those people are being missed. Um, I don't know when it comes to Brunson. I really don't know. I really don't expect them to place, um, Dad Brunson as associate head coach. I think if he's there, he's going to be development or just an assistant coach. I don't think he's going to be that high on the chart for a new coach. Okay, so what we're looking at is the Knicks cap sheet. So this is a great resource anybody can use, and this is called capsheets.com. Yossi Goslin, who's a really good cap guy, made this website, and it's way more detailed when it comes to finances. It if you look here, it tells where the luxury tax starts, actually how much the Knicks are going to be paying out of pocket. It tells where the first apron starts, where the second apron starts, dead money. It shows a lot. So, where did the Knicks stand? Well, where do they stand now? We see PJ Tucker is on this list. He has an option. So when the Knicks signed PJ Tucker, it was pretty much a 2-year contract. The second year isn't guaranteed. So if the Knicks cut PJ Tucker, who's in red, they don't need to pay him. We'll see later why they may not necessarily go that route. Ariel Hukporti, you see it's in a little blue bubble. Ariel Hukporti has an option on this year. So if the Knicks didn't like Ariel Hukporti, they could have cut him. But what we're going to assume is they are bringing Ariel Hukporti back. So Ariel Hukporti. So our payroll, as it stands, 199, 199 million plus. Where does that leave us? And we're going to look at, we're over the first apron, according to this. And the second apron, we're at $8 million. So $8 million of space, and you need 14 players. So you're basically, if you keep PJ Tucker for 3 spaces, you have $8 million, and for that $8 million, if it's not a minimum, you have up to 5.7 you could spend on a space if it's not a minimum or a vet minimum. So what can we do with that? What can we do with that? Well, we could do a trade and create more space. I want to have a trade, but it's not gonna create much more space. Yes, we have to give up more than we take in, but the difference is so little. It doesn't. It's like maybe $30,000. I think is the difference. Okay. Okay. So what is this trade? Because we do have some issues on this team. We have Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson came back mid-season. There was a big question. Everybody wasn't even sure if the Knicks were going to trade him at the deadline. Basically, the Knicks kind of gambled and said, we're going to hope that he is ready, instead of trading for a downgrade, which would have been, what's his name? A downgrade in center just to make sure you got someone who was healthy. So they kind of bet on Mitch. It's something that worked out. Mitch came back, and later in the playoffs, he was invaluable. it was tough to keep him off the floor because he had such an impact. But this is Mitch's. If Mitch is going into his last year of contract, he is extension eligible. If the Knicks played the whole year, which I've heard a lot of people say, just make Mitch play the year, and then we'll worry about his contract next year. What would happen if Mitch doesn't even have to have a great year, a decent year? Somebody next summer is going to do a Hartenstein and offer way more than the Knicks are worth, and the Knicks are going to lose out on a piece that they can't replace. So you have two choices. You either extend Mitchell Robinson now, or you trade Mitchell Robinson now and extract the value you have from Mitchell Robinson. And how did I take care of that? So all summer I've been saying the Knicks need to add a starter. I don't think Mitch is a starter currently. A lot of people are arguing with me, but I just don't think he's a starter. So how did I take care of trade Mitch and adding a starter to his team? So not adding a shooting guard. Some people suggest adding a power forward. I'm just talking about adding another center. So Mitch is out, but we have a starting center who shoots, who can shoot free throws. You're obviously not going to get the same defense. And how would I take care of that? I would take care of this in trade number 2. And that is getting DeAndre Ayton. And I know a lot of people just do not like the name DeAndre Ayton. There's been like incidents with him. But one thing we know about DeAndre Ayton is that he can score, especially in the mid-range. He has a lot of offensive tools. He is a good rebounder. Defender, decent. Not a great defender. But he is a very good passer. And you add Cat, who's a very good passer. I think it can really work between them two. Not only that, they're kind of interchangeable. You have two players who can play power forward and play center. And I think if you add that to the bench or what is going to come forward in the next couple of years, you have an infinite possibilities of lineups. I think very versatile lineup. So what is Ayton's status? Well, Ayton is on a 1-year contract, just like Mitchell Robinson. So for the same thing that's happening with us with Mitch is kind of happening over there with the Trailblazers. So what is his status? Well, the Trailblazers have drafted their center of the future in Donovan Clingan. So if Clingan is the future, are they extending DeAndre Ayton? Most likely not. What are they probably doing? They're probably waiting for him to expire. So the thought of my trade is to give them the expiring deals that they want. So they would be receiving Mitchell Robinson, expiring center, can back up Clingan, and also Marcus Smart. Where did we get Marcus Smart from? We get him from the Washington Wizards. What would the Wizards want with Marcus Smart? He's also an expiring deal. Well, the Wizards are kind of in tank mode. They're not looking to win right now. They're looking to develop their guys. They are not looking to make a big star trade this year. They're looking to make a big star trade next year. So, expiring Marcus Smart does not help them on a big trade next year. Josh Hart does, because because he's basically expiring next year, because his third year is a team option. So basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna tell the Wizards we're sending you Josh Hart, great team player, and we're gonna send you your protected first round pick next year. That's top 10 protected. That they really want back, not because they're not gonna have it. Um, the thing with their protected pick is that if we go through all the way through next year and it doesn't convey, what happens is they give the Knicks their next two second round picks. So those are going to be two high second round picks. So they want that back. So for doing that favor for us, I'm going to get Mark Smart. I'm going to put him in that trade. And instead of that first round pick, they're going to give me four second round picks. Why would they give me four when they were going to give me two? Well, the two that they were going to give me were their own, which were going to be high. And not only when I send them their protected pick back, what it does to unlock all their picks. So now, if they want to do a big trade, they can do a big trade because all their picks are unlocked. So that's why they do that. Yes, Ebony's gonna have a heart attack when she sees this. So basically, Trailblazers get what they want. They get two tradable contracts, two expirings, and they give Donovan Clingan the minutes he needs. Wizards get their pick back. They get a player they can trade next year, and we're just a little bit off. The numbers is just a little bit off, so we have to send a little bit more salary. So instead of just, a lot of people will say, hey, throw Pacome out of here, throw somebody who makes $2 million in a deal. There's nobody we really want to trade with $2 million in a deal. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw PJ Tucker in the trade. So we're gonna pick up his option and put him in the trade to make the money work. So the Knicks end up with DeAndre Ayton and 4 second round picks. And now our starting lineup: DeAndre Ayton at center, Karl-Anthony Towns at power forward, OG Anunoby goes to his rightful position at small forward. Mikal Bridges is now a shooting guard instead of playing small forward. Now he's actually the right size or even bigger than the players he's playing. So that's good. And Jalen Brunson at point guard. Okay, so that's the first thing. So we added starter. We've added the starter, like we've always said. We've taken care of the Mitchell Robinson thing, which is a question mark. We don't have to worry about his extension. He would be okay. Like, he's going to be okay. Like, next summer, he is going to get very, very, very good offers. 20 plus million. But we just shown that we just got DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton makes $36 million. Wow, that's a lot. It seems like a lot. And it's too much. So part of the trade, that's the due diligence, is reaching out to Ayton first before you pull off such a trade, and you're going to try to get an extension done part of this deal. Not actually part of the deal, but the trade goes through and then you make it happen, but you need to come to an agreement before you do something like this. So the key to this is not only trading for Ayton, but getting him to agree to an extension. So an extension that's more realistic. So I don't think it's unrealistic to ask DeAndre Ayton to go from $36 million a year to maybe $22 a year. So maybe 3 years, 66 million. I don't think that's unreasonable, but it could be something that Aiton doesn't want to do. So he could say, "Hey, I could take my chance, and then I'll see what I can get on the open market." There's nothing you can do about that, but you need to find out before you make that trade. If you're gonna make that trade and you know he's gonna test the market, um, you have to weigh carefully if that's something you really want to do. So what am I gonna do for the draft? You have the 50th pick, and the 50th pick. Hopefully you've seen the draft special. Um, I've said there's someone I really think he's perfect for the Knicks. That is Kobe Brea. He's actually from New York. He's from Manhattan. He's from Washington Heights. Kobe Brea from Kentucky. He's 6'7", shooting guard, a shooting guard wing. And if you've seen him play, he reminds me a lot of Klay Thompson. And the part that reminds me of Klay Thompson is his footwork. So his footwork, he isn't fancy. In his final year, he has done had more commitment to driving, getting into the lane, doing layups. But this kid has no conscience when it comes to shooting. Like, he is a shooter. I know we had Grimes, who's a very good shooter, but he didn't have the nerves sometimes. This kid has the nerves. Not only that, he has the footwork of Klay Thompson, in that if he's gonna shoot it, he can relocate. Um, he's gonna do enough to get that shot off, and I think he is the guy. I think he's the second best shooter in the draft. Um, I think he's going to be the second to go. I think Chaz Lanier is better than him and will go first. So if Chaz Lanier is on the board when the first round is ended, you probably know you can get, you probably could get uh, in that second round. And the the place I would get that pick is the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic have a few picks. They have a high pick in the draft. Not only that, they have pick 33 and they have pick 34. So basically, so you have these two second round picks are really high. They probably don't want that many spots. So what I'm going to do, I would offer them the 50th pick. I would offer them a future second. And I'd probably offer Jokovitis. I don't think he's coming to the Knicks. We don't have money to pay for Jokovitis to come over. But for like Charlotte, that may be something that they may want to do at some point. So giving them the rights of Jokovitis, a future second, and a 50th pick. Someone maybe a draft and stash for them. Somebody may want to be overseas and they can hold on to it. Or somebody they can throw in the G League. Do they really want to waste the 34th pick and throw them in the G League? That's kind of high to be throwing somebody in the G League. So I would have Kobe Brea kind of be the heir apparent to Mikal Bridges, backing up Mikal Bridges, um, taller than Deuce, a real shooter, someone who's going to be under our control for 3-4 years, someone who's an elite shooter. I think he is someone, in case of emergency, if Mikal ever got hurt, he is Iron Man, but if he ever got hurt, I think Kobe Brea by mid-season would be able to just step in. So 6'7", Brea, 6'7", Mikal, we get very versatile. So Brea's shooting guard, can play small forward. I think he would be a great fit for the New York Knicks. So what else are we gonna do? I think So if you traded Mitch, you still have Huck Porty on the team, and we've heard James Najee wants to come over to the NBA. You signed James Najee to a standard contract, so a standard rookie deal. And so if he wants to do summer, if he's going to go to summer league, it's kind of beyond that free agent spot time. So he knows he's not getting our TMLE. Okay, so we look at this list. Where's the TMLE? I haven't used it. Like, I don't use the TMLE at all in this build because I've spent money on PJ Tucker. I spent some cap space with PJ Tucker because I didn't take him out. I also have another trade which is going to eat a little cap space by using DeLon Wright's contract in a sign and trade. Basically, you didn't have that money on the books when we looked at here. That money isn't on the books. So basically, if you're signing and trading him, even though you're not holding him, that's more. That's money. That's money that you didn't have written down. So we're gonna take his money and we're gonna get back GG Jackson, and that is someone who's familiar to Taylor Jenkins over in Memphis. We know he probably will want somebody to come over to this squad, somebody he's familiar with. I think GG Jackson is kind of perfect. They kind of struggled using GG Jackson uh, because they have other up and coming players. So I think GG Jackson could make a nice addition to the squad. It will cost a few seconds, and that's where those 4 seconds from the Wizards would come into play. So let's see the squad. Let's look at the Knicks squad. You have 5 starters. In the bench, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 14 players. And basically, your bench is, we're just going to check if we're covering all our bases. Jalen Brunson starter. Kolek backup with Deuce in an emergency. Shooting guard. Mikal Bridges. Deuce McBride. Kobe Brea. That's covered. Small forward. OG Anunoby. GG Jackson. And hopefully Kevin McCullough. That's covered. Who can I use at power forward? Carl Anthony Towns. GG Jackson also can play power forward. Hakeem Dadier could play power forward. Even DeAndre Ayton can play power forward. Okay, so at center, we have DeAndre Ayton, like a real starter. He could play center. Huck Porty can play center. And James Najee. Hopefully he can be incorporated and play center as well. So I think we've covered all our bases. We've covered all our bases. We didn't go over the second apron. If we can sign Ayton to a lesser contract, what it does is help pay for the extension with Mikal Bridges. So maybe next year, if we're smart, we won't go over the second apron next year. So we're not going to just assume we're just going to blow through the second apron next year. So I think the East is probably too tight to say, hey, I can't assume we're the top team in the East. We're gonna keep rolling, and until there's a superstar available, we're not gonna operate championship or bust. We're not blowing through the cap. So that's what I had for my first build. Knicks Summer Build 1.0. There are certain other YouTubers or other people on Twitter. We're gonna have their builds, so it's just not me and what I think. I'm gonna have other people have other builds, and we're gonna explain the builds and see what they think. Because I think some of these other builds are interesting. I saw Brutus have a build on Twitter that is super interesting, and I would love for him to come on and explain it. I'm just gonna check in the chat. Hey, what's up, Blorence Tears, checking in with the salute. Knicks Nation TV, who suggested cutting payroll, trade McCall. We're gonna have some McCall trades, um, but I don't think you trade McCall unless you get an upgrade. You got to be upgrading something. I don't think I want to trade McCall and just break it down into a couple decent contracts. If I'm gonna trade McCall, we gave up 5 picks. It better be a star coming back. And let me see. Still Nick fans jumped in. Definitely someone you should be following. On Saturday, he definitely has a show that's like the hottest thing on YouTube. So definitely check it out. Saturday, 11:30 a.m. Dorkosaurus Rex. Trade Shamit. Well, in this build, I re-signed Shamit. Kind of, I really don't know what else because he is a good player, and I don't think I'm gonna sign someone better that who wouldn't mind sitting. Like there are probably some players who, want to be prominent. They have to be okay with sitting. Um, any money left after that, there should be just some breathing room, a couple million, just some breathing room between us and the cap. Um, and King Ribby, RM. So shout out to y'all. Yeah, thank y'all for really joining. The only other story was the Lakers. I did a short on it, but I'm just want to bring it up since it does affect the Knicks. Is since the Lakers sold at a $10 billion valuation, and I think that's huge. Um, the Lakers are one of those iconic franchises, and they really just cashed in. Um, the amount of teams that are owned by just a family are going to be less and less. It's becoming like a corporate endeavor to own a team, and a lot of these teams are going to operate more like businesses. Um, what does that 10 billion have to do with the Knicks? Well, the Lakers' valuation last year was 7.1 billions by Forbes. So they're worth 7.1 billion. This new owner says, okay, they're worth 10 billion. So what using the NBA, they'll take that, and the teams are all rise together and say, hey, yeah, Lakers, you're worth 10 billion. Everybody who was around that, you're worth around 10 million too. So with the list last year, Lakers were 7.1, Knicks were 7.5, and above them, Golden State was 8.3 billion. So what does that mean? Knicks may be now worth 10+ billion dollars, and also Golden State may be 11 or even more. Does that affect us in any way? Well, it does. It has to do with financing. Now, now Dolan, he doesn't own the entirety of the Knicks. He has like a majority stake. Now, if he needs to finance something, he can't just say, "Hey, I have something worth 7." He said, "I have something worth 10 plus." So, in the last few months, the Knicks MSG network was in trouble. They were trying to refinance. They couldn't get financing, so they start talking to other networks about buying MSG. Does this new valuation means the Knicks now can get financing for MSG to keep it. Also, the Knicks have been, for the last 4 years, have been looking at building a new Madison Square Garden. A new Madison Square Garden, either taking the garden currently and just do a major renovation, or taking this garden, knocking down and doing a brand new garden, or moving it across the street and building a new garden and turning the garden into like a brand new, really fancy Penn Station. And they needed like public funds and stuff to do that. I think the price is kind of the price to build the Penn Station with the garden move was almost the same as just renovating Penn Station. But now they may have more at their disposal to get what they want done. Um, so this could mean that we get a quicker decision on building the next garden, which would be interesting because I always thought like if the Knicks won the championship, then we'll get a $10 billion valuation, and then maybe this stuff will move forward. But now we got $10 billion valuation without a championship. So that's what it could really affect the Knicks. I think it's good for the Knicks in that they may be some of that financial trouble with the MSG network may be cleared up because of this. I'd like to thank everybody for joining, and we'll have another show very soon. Um, I can't even guess what the next one is going to be, but we're gonna have some news with the coaching soon. So definitely, if you have any coaching information coming, we'll go live with that. But thank you everybody for joining. Please hit that like button. It really helps our channel. Or really, once you hit that like button, it helps spread the word out. We really try to reach as many people as you can. Hopefully, we can get to, I'm hoping, 1,000 subscribers by next season beginning. That would be great. Um, that would be great for the channel. So I thank everybody for joining, and I will see you next time.